During my peak drinking years, I used to be let's call it a traveling salesman as an oversimplification, and I drove a lot. During those drives, I would listen to all manner of conservative talk radio and podcast programs. Now, don't get mad. This isn't a political video. I mean, I consider myself left-wing these days, except on certain issues like immigration and gun rights, but we're on a tangent already. Anyway, I used to spend a lot of that time listening to, conservative talk radio podcasts like Hannity, Rush Limbaugh, Mark Levin. I really liked Herman Cain. He was delightful. But worst of all, InfoWars or Alex Jones. I'd listen to that all the time, right? And I know, I said earlier my drinking years, so I was driving a lot, which isn't it's not funny, but I just realized now that what I said was horrible. Anyway, the point is, I was listening to all these radio programs, and I would drive my friends and family insane talking to them about these conspiracy theories. Now, I'm not blaming these hosts necessarily, but what I am saying is that I was feeding myself all of this sort of negative, get angry, political crap constantly, things that I had no power over, I had no ability to change, and I just wanted more and more and more. It's as if I felt like I had some level of knowledge or, insight that others didn't have, and that made me better than them because I saw it and they didn't. And to an extent, yes, I mean, look, a lot of these conspiracies are true, and they get proven true more and more each and every day. But what did me knowing and worrying and being frustrated and angry and ultimately falling into despair and drinking, what did that change? What happened? What exactly was prevented in my life by me listening to these programs or getting riled up? And it wasn't just these radio programs. I would go home and listen to more politics, and I would, watch all my YouTube recommended. It was just politics all the time, everywhere. And I would just drive myself insane listening to the knowledge, and then I would read the books, and I would read these massive textbooks like Tragedy and Hope. I read most of that. Zbigniew Brzezinski's Technotronic Era. Jonas Salk's Survival of the Wisest, which that's not a big book, and that is an interesting one, by the way. You should check that out. But okay, see, there I go. The point is, what good did any of that do me? And the answer is nothing. The answer is I lived my life in despair, and it just exacerbated my drinking, and it caused me to just go absolutely insane, drive everybody around me insane, and just filled me with worry. And of course, nothing changed. And that's the topic of this video today. I used to be a hardcore conspiracy theorist, and why I'm not anymore. Well, mostly I'm not anymore because there's no longer conspiracy theorists. We were all correct, But no, seriously, what good can come from a man? How much life can he add on to his life by worry? And the answer is zero. It really is. Nothing changed. Granted, you could be more prepared, at least you're not caught off guard, but I mean, nothing really happened, And that's the point of this video, is just saying, well, guys, if you're a conspiracy theorist out there, that's fine, but try to enjoy your life a little bit, right? Because one thing that brought me a lot of peace and comfort, especially when I got sober, was knowing that I had the power to change nothing, right? I had to surrender to win, is what we call it, right? I have the power to change nothing. And that's why we have a serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. I know many of you just got mad and clicked off, but you don't have to believe in the Christian God necessarily. It could be a higher power, just anything above yourself you look up to. Because you have to understand, at the end of the day, you have the power to change nothing, to change no one's opinion, no one's mind. You don't know their lifestyle, their lived experience. I know that's kind of one of those cringe left-wing buzz phrases, but I mean, seriously though, you don't know their lived experience, what they've been through, how their life is like. You're not going to convince them otherwise. You can try. If they ask questions, you can tell them, but ultimately you have to let people make their own decisions, their own mistakes. You can't, it's your duty to stop them from hurting themselves in front of you, but if they're going to go and do something you don't approve of, that's on them, not on you. You can just say, hey, I don't think that's a good idea, but whatever, let them make their decision. Let people make their mistakes, right? there's ultimately nothing you can do about it. And many people have this belief to this day. I mean, it's getting worse and worse, but they have this belief of them or they or these people. And there is one group of people that I would be scared to talk about on YouTube, which ironically enough would feed into that conspiracy theory because you're not allowed to talk about these people. But one group of people that everybody seems to blame for every single thing. It's another reason why I've stopped being a conspiracy theorist, is because all roads lead to this religion, right? And I just think, you know what? Maybe they do run everything. Maybe it's all true. But what good does me knowing that? Like, how does that stop them? And the answer is it actually, ironically enough, it makes it worse. Like, basically, it puts them on a pedestal. If you think they're all powerful and control everything, then they do, and whoever they are, if they stop you from living your best life because you're anxious and worried and blame them for everything that goes wrong, that means they win. They got what they wanted. Do you understand that? So the best way to give them the middle finger is to live your life in peace and live it comfortably, right? I know a lot of us complain about the economy. A lot of us complain about things that are happening in the government. But I mean, what good does worrying do? You can prepare, you can budget, you can avoid, dangerous activities or frivolous spending. You can hygiene, you can, work out, you know what I mean? You can try to keep yourself safe and comfortable. But what good does it do to live in a bunker the rest of your life, hunkered down with thousands of cans of food, you know what I mean? Nobody thinks about it, but if the apocalypse happens and you're in a bunker, great, you're alive, but now you're alone for the next 50 years or whatever until you pass away. Like, what good did that do you? Are you really better off than have been in a flash, your life is done? Are you really that much better off? I mean, you're alive, sure, but you know what I mean? People don't think about this, right? And all those giant books that I read about the end of the world, about these prophecies, conspiracies, whether or not they're true or not, it added literally nothing to my life. It just wasted my time. I could have been reading more hentai manga. I could have been playing more visual novels, I could have been living my best life or hanging out with friends, family. I should have said that before I said hentai manga, but you know how it goes. But anyway, it just didn't do me any good, I just wanted to feel superior to my peers, like I knew something they didn't, or I was superior to them because I knew what was going on and they didn't. Meanwhile, they were just having the time of their lives, having a good time, having a ball. And I mean, yeah, a lot of this is my own personal alcoholism, that I was going through, but it certainly did not help, all right? Actually, it's impressive that I was able to read so much when I was drunk. Think about it. But anyway, basically, you have the power to change nothing outside of yourself. So the best thing to do is just to, change yourself if you want. That's the only thing you have the power to change. And I believe it's a quote from Epictetus. Happiness and freedom begin with a clear understanding of one principle. Some things are within our control and some things are not. So, I'm not the happiest person. I don't have my life totally together. But you know what? At the end of the day, I do my best to just live and let live. So other people believe differently. So fuck them, I don't have to try to tear them down or change their mind. That's just a fool's errand, right? You could tell them they're wrong, but a lot of times they'll just call you a racist or something when you're talking about taxes or some dumb bullshit. You know what I mean? But anyway, check out the main channel. I sure thank y'all for being here. I hope you leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. And if I got anything wrong or, you just want to call me a name, go for it. But with that out of the way, I sure thank you. With that, let's move on.